What's the most dangerous animal in the Amazon, would you say?
I'm going to disappoint everybody with this, but it's humans. Most of the people that I meet don't actually really understand how isolated these people are. There clearly is a long history of complex civilizations in the Amazon. 100%. They've built something there that when you look up at that mountain, you go, whoa.
Scientists discovered a tribe in the Amazon jungle that never evolved, sparking a renewed fascination with isolated human societies. Among these mysterious groups, the Sentinelese of North Sentinel Island stand out as one of the most intriguing and resilient. Hidden away in the dense forests and protected by treacherous coral reefs, the Sentinelese have lived in near-total isolation for thousands of years, fiercely defending their territory from any outsider who dares to approach. North Sentinel Island is a fascinating and mysterious place located in the Bay of Bengal, nestled between India to the west and Myanmar to the north and east. This island, part of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, spans approximately 59.5 square kilometers, which is about the same size as Manhattan in New York City. The island is covered with a dense tropical rainforest, creating a lush green canopy that hides much of its interior from aerial view. Its coastline is surrounded by coral reefs, forming a natural barrier that makes access by boat exceptionally difficult. These reefs are treacherous, with sharp corals capable of damaging boats, further protecting the island's inhabitants from unwelcome visitors. The waters around North Sentinel Island are clear and rich with marine life, indicating an undisturbed ecosystem. The island itself is relatively flat, with the highest elevations reaching only about 122 meters above sea level. This flat terrain, coupled with its dense forestation, presents a challenging environment for any explorers or researchers who might consider venturing there. Home to one of the world's last uncontacted tribes, the Sentinelese North Sentinel Island is steeped in mystery. The exact population of the Sentinelese is difficult to determine due to their reclusive and hostile nature, but estimates suggest it ranges between 50 and 200 individuals. These people are believed to have lived on the island for up to 60,000 years, making them one of the most ancient continuous populations on Earth. The Sentinelese are of Negrito descent, characterized by their dark skin, short stature, and curly hair. They share physical similarities with other indigenous peoples of the Andaman Islands, such as the Onga and the Jawa, but their language, customs, and social practices remain distinct and largely unknown to the outside world. The Sentinelese society is thought to be hunter-gatherer, relying on the island's natural resources for sustenance. They hunt wildlife, fish in the coastal waters, and gather fruits, nuts, and tubers from the forest. The tools and weapons they use are simple, made from stone, wood, and occasionally metal scavenged from shipwrecks that wash ashore. They are known to be proficient with bows and arrows, which they use for both hunting and defending their territory from intruders. Isolation is a defining characteristic of the Sentinelese. They have lived in near-total isolation for thousands of years, maintaining their way of life with little to no influence from the outside world. This isolation is both self-imposed and enforced through their aggressive defense of their territory. The Sentinelese are infamous for their hostile response to any attempts at contact. Whether researchers, fishermen, or missionaries approach the island, they are met with bows and arrows. This hostility is believed to stem from historical experiences with violence and disease brought by outsiders, coupled with a deeply ingrained cultural imperative to protect their land and way of life. An interesting theory proposed by some anthropologists is that the Sentinelese's extreme hostility to outsiders may be a form of social cohesion and survival strategy. By maintaining strict isolation, they avoid the devastating impacts of diseases to which they have no immunity, a fate that has befallen many other indigenous populations upon contact with the modern world. This theory suggests that their behavior is an evolved response designed to protect their genetic lineage and cultural heritage from extinction. When comparing the Sentinelese to the Andamanese Jawa tribe, a compelling perspective on the impacts of contact and isolation emerges. The Jawa, another indigenous group from the Andaman Islands, have had more interaction with outsiders over the past few decades. This contact has led to significant changes in their lifestyle, health, and social structures. While the Jawa have gained access to modern amenities and healthcare, they have also faced challenges such as the loss of traditional ways of life, exposure to diseases, and dependency on outside support. In stark contrast, the Sentinelese have managed to maintain their traditional way of life, largely untouched by the outside world. This stark difference highlights the profound impact that contact with modern civilization can have on isolated indigenous communities. The comparison underscores the importance of respecting and protecting the autonomy of such tribes, allowing them to decide their own futures without external pressures. The first recorded mention of North Sentinel Island dates back to 1771, when British surveyor John Ritchie observed the island from a distance during a mapping expedition. Although Ritchie did not set foot on the island, his mention marked the beginning of its documentation in colonial records. The island later appeared on British maps in the late 19th century, further solidifying its place in recorded history. In the years that followed, North Sentinel Island remained largely unexplored due to its dense forests and dangerous coral reefs. The island's mysterious aura only grew with time, as did the curiosity of explorers and colonists. In 1867, the Indian merchant ship Nineveh ran aground on the reefs near North Sentinel Island. The shipwreck survivors made it to the shore but were soon attacked by the Sentinelese, who used bows and arrows to defend their territory. The survivors managed to signal for help, and a rescue party from the British Royal Navy arrived days later to retrieve them. This encounter was one of the earliest documented instances of the Sentinelese's hostility towards outsiders. It set a precedent for future interactions, where any attempt to approach the island was met with aggression. The consistent hostility can be attributed to the tribe's desire to protect their isolation and way of life from external influences. In 1880, Maurice Vidal Portman, a British colonial administrator, led an expedition to North Sentinel Island. Portman, who had a keen interest in the indigenous peoples of the Andaman Islands, aimed to study the Sentinelese and their way of life. During this expedition, he captured 6 Sentinelese individuals. Portman brought them to Port Blair, the capital of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, with the intent of studying them. However, the 2 adults quickly fell ill and died, likely due to their lack of immunity to common diseases. This event likely reinforced the tribe's deep-seated distrust and hostility towards outsiders, having experienced the fatal consequences of contact. The Indian government has recognized the importance of protecting the Sentinelese from external threats and has taken significant measures to preserve their way of life. In 1956, the government enacted the Andaman and Nicobar Islands Regulation, which designates the island as a tribal reserve and prohibits travel within a 3-mile exclusion zone around it. The primary reasons for this exclusion zone are to prevent the introduction of diseases to which the Sentinelese have no immunity and to respect their right to live undisturbed. The government's policy aims to balance the preservation of the tribe's cultural heritage with their safety and autonomy. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was a catastrophic event that caused widespread destruction across the region. In the aftermath, there were concerns about the well-being of the Sentinelese. The Indian government conducted aerial surveys to assess the situation on North Sentinel Island. Remarkably, the Sentinelese survived the tsunami, demonstrating their deep knowledge of the island's geography and their ability to adapt to natural disasters. Photographs from the surveys showed Sentinelese individuals shooting arrows at the helicopters, a clear indication of their continued resilience and hostility towards outsiders. This incident reaffirmed the tribe's determination to remain isolated and underscored their ability to survive extreme conditions. Imagine uncovering an ancient civilization so advanced that it reshapes everything we know about early human history. That's exactly what happened when scientists recently used cutting-edge technology to explore the dense jungles of the Amazon.
It's the most biodiverse terrestrial habitat that has ever existed on Earth. So there's more life here than anywhere else, period.
Hidden beneath the thick canopy, they discovered remnants of an ancient tribe with megalithic structures. Join us as we delve into this groundbreaking discovery, revealing the secrets of a people who once thrived in the heart of the jungle. The discovery of the Olmec civilization is a story that began in the mid-19th century, when travelers in the Gulf Coast region of Mexico stumbled upon large, enigmatic stone heads.
The Olmecs, really, they're characterized by the megalithic stone heads, precision-engineered stonework.
In 1862, a colossal stone head was unearthed near Tres Zapotes, Veracruz, by José Melgar, a Mexican explorer and antiquarian. This head puzzled Melgar, who didn't realize its cultural significance. Despite his detailed documentation of the head, it didn't spark immediate widespread interest.
Everyone goes to the big Mayan sites, or they go to Teotihuacan and Mexico City because they're impressive. Whereas the Olmec sites, there's not much left.
The head remained an isolated curiosity for many years, as the region was still relatively unexplored, and it would take several more decades before systematic archaeological efforts began to reveal the full extent of the Olmec civilization. The formal recognition of the Olmec civilization began in earnest in the early 20th century, thanks largely to the efforts of archaeologists like Franz Blom and Oliver Lafarge. In the 1920s, Blom and Lafarge conducted an expedition to the Gulf Coast and encountered more colossal heads and other artifacts at Tres Zapotes.
But no one really knows anything. There's no writing, there's no good legends or stories that come down describing what they were doing.
Their findings, published in 1926, drew the attention of the academic community to the region. Their meticulous documentation of the artifacts provided detailed descriptions and photographs that allowed other researchers to start piecing together the unique characteristics of the Olmec civilization. The term Olmec, derived from the Nahuatl word Olmecatl, meaning rubber people, was initially used to describe these early Gulf Coast inhabitants who lived around 1200 to 400 BCE. The name later came to refer to the broader cultural and archaeological phenomena associated with the sites and artifacts discovered in this region. The designation rubber people is particularly intriguing because it highlights one of the Olmec's notable achievements: the production and use of rubber. The Olmec were among the first in the world to develop techniques for processing latex from local rubber trees, which they used to create various items, including balls for ceremonial games. This innovation underscores their sophisticated understanding of natural materials and their practical applications. In the 1930s and 1940s, extensive excavations were conducted at San Lorenzo Tenochtitlan, a major Olmec site in Veracruz, led by Matthew Sterling of the Smithsonian Institution and the National Geographic Society. These excavations uncovered numerous colossal heads, altars, and other stone sculptures.
We don't really know what they were. All we've got left is the stone heads to look at and decipher.
San Lorenzo was identified as one of the earliest and most significant Olmec centers, dating back to around 1200 BCE. The site's monumental architecture and sophisticated drainage systems revealed the complexity and advancement of Olmec society. Sterling's work was groundbreaking in many ways. His discoveries at San Lorenzo included massive basalt sculptures, some weighing up to 40 tons, which had been transported over considerable distances from their quarries. This feat highlighted the Olmecs' remarkable engineering skills and their ability to mobilize and organize large labor forces. This required advanced logistics and engineering, indicating a highly organized society with a strong central authority. The drainage system at San Lorenzo, consisting of carefully laid stone-lined channels, demonstrated the Olmecs' understanding of hydraulics and urban planning. The discovery of workshop areas for specialized craft production, particularly in stone carving and jade working, underscored the site's economic and cultural importance. Interestingly, the societal organization required for such monumental projects in San Lorenzo can be compared to ancient Egypt's construction of the pyramids, with both civilizations mobilizing vast labor forces and demonstrating advanced knowledge in engineering and logistics, reflecting the centralization of power and resources. The site of La Venta in Tabasco became another focal point of Olmec studies, with excavations in the 1940s and 1950s, also spearheaded by unearthing a wealth of artifacts.
But there's very interesting artifacts and sites below south of Mexico City that myself, I've been visiting them for years.
These included more colossal heads, jade figurines, and intricately carved stelae. La Venta was recognized as a major ceremonial center that flourished around 900 to 400 BCE. The site's layout, featuring a large pyramid, plazas, and stone monuments, illustrated the Olmec's architectural and artistic achievements. La Venta's Great Pyramid, a clay structure about 34 meters high, is one of the earliest pyramid-like constructions in Mesoamerica. This pyramid, along with the site's central axis and complex layout, influenced later Mesoamerican ceremonial centers. The discovery of elaborate burials and offering caches containing jade, serpentine, and other exotic materials indicated the site's religious and political significance. One of the most fascinating artifacts from Venta is the Ambassador Offering, a cache containing 16 male figurines and 6 celts arranged in a ritualistic pattern. These figurines, made of jade and other precious materials, appear to be involved in a ceremonial scene, suggesting a complex social hierarchy and religious practices. Venta also revealed numerous basalt columns used in both construction and as altars, some intricately carved with symbols and deities, indicating a sophisticated belief system and a high level of artistic achievement. Zapotes continued to yield important discoveries, including the famous Stela Sea, which contained one of the earliest known long count dates in Mesoamerica, corresponding to 32 BCE. This finding provided crucial evidence of the Olmec's influence on later Mesoamerican cultures, particularly in the development of calendrical systems. Zapotes also provided evidence of a prolonged occupation, with artifacts ranging from early Olmec to post-Olmec times, indicating the site's long-term importance. The site featured multiple phases of construction, with mounds, plazas, and stone sculptures suggesting continuous development and adaptation. Laguna de los Cheros, another critical Olmec site, yielded numerous artifacts and monumental sculptures. The site's strategic location near trade routes highlights its role as a commercial hub. Artifacts such as pottery, figurines, and tools suggest extensive trade and interaction with neighboring cultures, further illustrating the Olmec's wide-ranging influence. The Olmec were master artisans in jade and serpentine, creating intricate masks, figurines, and celts often depicting shamanistic or deified figures. The craftsmanship and detail of these objects indicate a high level of artistic skill and the importance of these materials in Olmec society. The Olmec were also pioneers in the production of rubber. They developed techniques to process latex from local rubber trees, which they used to create balls for the Mesoamerican ball game, a ritualistic and possibly competitive sport that held significant cultural importance. Many Olmec artifacts depict shamanistic figures and were jaguar motifs, suggesting a belief system centered around shamanic practices and animal transformation. These motifs are believed to represent the powerful connection between humans and the spiritual world, with shamans acting as intermediaries. The Olmec's extensive trade networks allowed them to influence and interact with distant cultures. They traded jade, obsidian, and other valuable materials, spreading their cultural and technological innovations across Mesoamerica. Research on the Olmec civilization continues to this day, with new discoveries and interpretations emerging from ongoing excavations and advanced technologies like remote sensing and DNA analysis. These efforts are steadily unveiling more about the Olmec's social structure, economy, and interactions with neighboring cultures. Recent studies have utilized LiDAR technology to uncover previously hidden structures and settlements, providing a more comprehensive view of Olmec urbanism and their environmental adaptations. LiDAR has been especially useful in mapping out the complex layouts of Olmec cities, revealing the sophistication of their urban planning and their ability to adapt to the challenging environment of the Gulf Coast. So recently, the world has been captivated by the discovery of an underwater tribe that continues to thrive, showcasing remarkable survival skills and a deep connection to the sea. Scientists have been trying to contact these tribes with no much success. This discovery sheds light on several indigenous groups renowned for their sophisticated fishing and underwater hunting abilities. Peoples whose lifestyles reveal a wealth of knowledge about living in harmony with nature and preserving ancient traditions against all odds. The Haida people, indigenous to the Pacific northwest coast of North America, primarily reside in the Haida archipelago, formerly known as the Queen Charlotte Islands, in British Columbia, Canada, and parts of southern Alaska. Their culture and sustenance have long been centered around the sea, with exceptional fishing and underwater hunting practices forming the backbone of their way of life. The Haida are expert fishers, focusing particularly on salmon, halibut, and herring, species abundant in their coastal waters. Their fishing techniques are varied and sophisticated, including the use of fishing weirs, traps, and hook and line methods. These practices have been honed over generations, reflecting a deep understanding of the marine environment. For underwater hunting, the Haida traditionally utilized spears and harpoons to catch fish and marine mammals, further showcasing their mastery of the ocean's resources. A hallmark of Haida culture is their exquisitely crafted canoes made from red cedar. These canoes are essential not only for travel across both sea and river, but also for their fishing and hunting expeditions. The Haida's maritime prowess is also reflected in their totem poles, which often depict animals and mythological beings from the sea, symbolizing the profound connection between the Haida people and the marine ecosystem that sustains them. On the opposite side of North America, along the sun-drenched coasts of California, the Chumash people have developed a rich maritime culture deeply rooted in the abundant resources of the Pacific Ocean. The Chumash are renowned for their expertise in various forms of underwater hunting and fishing, practices that have been integral to their way of life for centuries. The Chumash were skilled boat builders, crafting plank canoes known as tommels from redwood or driftwood. These sturdy vessels allowed them to navigate the often challenging waters between the mainland and the Channel Islands, enabling them to fish in deeper waters and transport goods between communities. Fishing was a vital part of Chumash life, and they hunted a wide variety of marine life, including fish, abalone, and shellfish. To capture their prey, they employed spears, nets, and traps, tools that were often made with great care and precision. Abalone held a special place in Chumash culture, not only as a valuable food source, but also for its iridescent shells, which were used to make tools, ornaments, and items for trade. The importance of the sea to the Chumash is also evident in their rock art, which frequently features depictions of marine life and hunting scenes, offering a glimpse into their deep connection with the ocean. Chumash villages were strategically located near water sources, with their economy heavily based on the exploitation of marine resources. Dried fish and other seafood were important trade goods, forming the backbone of complex trade networks that spanned the region. The Chumash's social organization was equally intricate, with a strong emphasis on community and cooperation, particularly in the management of marine resources. In the frigid Arctic regions of northern Scandinavia, the Sami people have long thrived in one of the world's most inhospitable environments. Spanning Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia, the Sami are known for their rich cultural heritage and their close relationship with the Arctic environment, particularly in the realms of fishing and underwater hunting. The Sami have traditionally engaged in fishing in the cold waters of their region, relying heavily on both freshwater and coastal fishing for sustenance. They are skilled in catching a variety of species, including salmon, trout, and Arctic char, using nets, hooks, and traditional traps. These fishing practices are vital to the Sami diet, providing them with essential nutrients in an environment where agriculture is limited. In addition to fishing, the Sami have historically hunted marine mammals, such as seals, a practice that required exceptional skill and knowledge of the icy waters. They used harpoons and spears, often navigating treacherous conditions in specialized boats known as gypsies. These boats, crafted with great care, allowed the Sami to move efficiently across frozen landscapes and open waters, further highlighting their ingenuity and adaptability. While the Sami are perhaps best known for their reindeer herding, fishing and hunting have always played a crucial role in their subsistence lifestyle. The Sami possess extensive traditional knowledge of their natural environment, including the behavior of fish and marine mammals, knowledge that has been passed down through generations and remains crucial for their survival in the harsh Arctic conditions. Sami craftsmanship, known as duoji, is another aspect of their culture that reflects their deep connection to the natural world. This includes the making of tools and equipment for fishing and hunting, such as fishing nets and spears from natural materials. These practices not only support their subsistence needs, but also contribute to the preservation of their cultural identity. The Sami have a profound respect for nature, practicing sustainable hunting and fishing methods that are rooted in their traditional code of conduct. This code emphasizes taking only what is needed and ensuring the continued health of the ecosystem, principles that have allowed the Sami to live in harmony with their environment for centuries. Continuing our exploration of indigenous groups with exceptional underwater skills, the Moken people, often referred to as sea gypsies, are a nomadic seafaring community living in the Mergui archipelago along the coasts of Myanmar and Thailand. Their entire existence is intricately tied to the sea, which serves as their home, livelihood, and spiritual center. The Moken's way of life is a fascinating blend of survival skills, traditional knowledge, and a deep respect for the ocean. Moken families spend most of their lives on traditional wooden boats called kabang, which serve as their homes. These boats are not just a means of transportation, but are central to Moken culture, representing the freedom and mobility that define their nomadic lifestyle. The Moken only come ashore during the monsoon season or to trade with coastal communities, making the sea their constant companion and provider. One of the most remarkable aspects of Moken culture is their exceptional free-diving abilities. Moken divers, both men and women, can hold their breath for extended periods and dive to significant depths without modern diving equipment. This skill is essential for their survival, allowing them to hunt fish, collect sea cucumbers, and gather shellfish, which form the basis of their diet. Studies have shown that Moken children have superior underwater vision compared to their land-dwelling counterparts. This unique adaptation significantly aids in their hunting and gathering activities, allowing them to see clearly underwater and spot their prey with ease. The Moken's extensive knowledge of marine life and underwater environments, passed down through generations, is a testament to their close relationship with the sea. The Moken's movements are dictated by the seasons and the monsoon cycle, with their nomadic lifestyle allowing them to travel vast distances along the coastlines in search of food and shelter. Despite the challenges they face in a rapidly changing world, the Moken continue to maintain their traditional way of life, embodying a deep connection to the natural world that is both inspiring and instructive. Similar to the Moken, the Bajau people, often known as sea nomads or sea gypsies, are indigenous to the maritime regions of the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. The Bajau are renowned for their exceptional free-diving abilities and their nomadic sea-based lifestyle, shaped by centuries of living in close harmony with the ocean. Bajau divers can hold their breath for several minutes and dive to depths of over 70 meters without diving equipment. This remarkable ability is partly due to their larger-than-average spleens, which allow them to store more oxygen-rich blood, a genetic adaptation evolved over generations of underwater hunting. The Bajau's diving skills are essential for their survival, as they rely on the sea for nearly all their needs. Living on lepas or lepa-lepa boats crafted from local timber, the Bajau spend most of their lives at sea. These boats are not only their homes, but also their primary mode of transportation, allowing them to move freely across the waters in search of food. The Bajau use spears and traditional harpoons to hunt fish, octopuses, and other marine life, employing techniques passed down through generations. In addition to hunting, they forage for edible marine plants, sea cucumbers, and shellfish, contributing to their diverse diet. The Bajau's lifestyle is a powerful example of human adaptability and resilience, demonstrating how a deep understanding of the natural world and the development of specialized skills can enable a community to thrive in an environment that others might find inhospitable. Scientists have recently discovered an underwater tribe that still exists today, captivating the world with their remarkable survival skills and deep connection to the sea. The Moken, Haida, Sami, and Chumash are indigenous groups known for their sophisticated fishing and underwater hunting abilities. Their fascinating lifestyles reveal a wealth of knowledge about living and ancient traditions that continue to thrive against the odds. The Moken, often referred to as sea gypsies, are a nomadic seafaring people living in the Mergui archipelago, along the coasts of Myanmar and Thailand. Their lifestyle is intricately tied to the sea, where they spend most of their lives on traditional wooden boats called kabang. Moken divers are renowned for their exceptional free-diving skills. They can hold their breath for extended periods and dive to significant depths without the use of modern diving equipment. The Moken live on their kabang boats, which serve as their homes, and only come ashore during the monsoon season or to trade with coastal communities. Their extensive knowledge of marine life and underwater environments is impressive. They use this knowledge to hunt fish, collect sea cucumbers, and gather shellfish. Interestingly, studies have shown that Moken children have superior underwater vision compared to their land-dwelling counterparts. They can see clearly underwater, which significantly aids in their hunting and gathering activities. The Moken's movements are dictated by the seasons and the monsoon cycle, traveling vast distances along the coastlines in search of food and shelter. The Bajau, often known as sea nomads or sea gypsies, are indigenous to the maritime regions of the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. They are renowned for their exceptional freediving abilities and their nomadic sea-based lifestyle. Bajau divers can hold their breath for several minutes and dive to depths of over 70 meters without diving equipment. Their spleens are larger than average, allowing them to store more oxygen-rich blood. The Bajau live on lepus or lepa-lepa boats, crafted from local timber. These boats are not only their homes but also their primary mode of transportation. Using spears and traditional harpoons, Bajau divers hunt fish, octopuses, and other marine life with techniques honed over generations. In addition to hunting, the Bajau forage for edible marine plants, sea cucumbers, and shellfish, contributing to their diverse diet. Ama divers are traditional Japanese female divers known for their expertise in freediving. The practice of Ama diving dates back over 2,000 years and is predominantly found in the coastal regions of Japan. Traditionally, Ama divers are women, some of whom continue diving well into their 70s and 80s. Their endurance and skill are celebrated aspects of Japanese culture. Historically, Ama divers were known for harvesting pearls, a practice that gained international fame in the early 20th century. They use minimal equipment, typically wearing only a loincloth or light clothing. Diving without air tanks, they rely on their breath-holding abilities to gather shellfish, seaweed, and other marine resources. These divers often work in close-knit communities, sharing their catches and supporting each other, fostering strong bonds and communal cooperation. While traditional Ama diving practices continue, many modern Ama divers use wetsuits and other protective gear to extend their diving careers. Both the Bajau and Ama divers showcase remarkable breath-holding and freediving abilities. However, while the Bajau's lifestyle revolves around their nomadic sea existence, living on boats and continuously moving, the Ama divers have a more stationary lifestyle rooted in specific coastal communities in Japan. The Bajau's exceptional diving skills are essential for their day-to-day survival and are integrated into their nomadic culture. In contrast, the Ama divers' practices are steeped in centuries-old traditions, often passed down through generations within the same locality. The Haida are an indigenous people native to the Pacific Northwest coast of North America, primarily residing in the Haida-Gwaii archipelago in British Columbia, Canada, and parts of southern Alaska. They are renowned for their sophisticated fishing and underwater hunting practices, which play a crucial role in their culture and sustenance. The Haida are expert fishers, primarily focusing on salmon, halibut, and herring. They utilize a variety of traditional techniques, including fishing weirs, traps, and hook-and-line fishing. For underwater hunting, the Haida traditionally used spears and harpoons to catch fish and marine mammals. They are skilled in diving to gather shellfish such as clams, mussels, and abalone. One of the standout features of Haida culture is their beautifully crafted canoes made from red cedar. These canoes are designed for both sea and river travel, enabling efficient fishing and hunting expeditions. The Haida are also well known for their totem poles, which often depict animals and mythological beings. These poles represent stories, clan lineages, and historical events, highlighting the deep connection between the Haida people and their natural environment. The Haida have a rich oral tradition, with stories and songs that celebrate their relationship with the sea and its resources. Potlatches, elaborate feasts that involve the redistribution of wealth, are central to their social structure, and often feature seafood as a primary component. Historically, the Haida have practiced sustainable fishing and hunting methods, ensuring the long-term availability of marine resources. This includes seasonal fishing and the use of fish traps that allow younger fish to escape and grow. The Sami are indigenous people of the Arctic regions of northern Scandinavia, spanning Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. Known for their rich cultural heritage and connection to the Arctic environment, the Sami have traditionally engaged in fishing and underwater hunting in the cold waters of their region. The Sami are skilled fishers relying heavily on freshwater and coastal fishing for sustenance. They catch various species, including salmon, trout, and Arctic char, using nets, hooks, and traditional traps. In addition to fishing, the Sami have historically hunted marine mammals such as seals. While primarily known for reindeer herding, which is central to their culture and economy, the Sami also integrate fishing and hunting practices into their subsistence lifestyle. The Sami possess extensive traditional knowledge of their natural environment, including the behavior of fish and marine mammals. This knowledge is passed down through generations and is crucial for their survival in the harsh Arctic conditions. Sami craftsmanship, known as duodji, includes making tools and equipment for fishing and hunting. This includes making fishing nets and spears from natural materials. The Chumash are a Native American tribe indigenous to the coastal regions of California. They have a rich maritime culture and are skilled in various forms of underwater hunting and fishing, which are integral to their way of life. The Chumash utilized plank canoes known as tomols to fish in the ocean. These canoes were expertly crafted from redwood or driftwood and allowed them to travel between the mainland and the Channel Islands. The Chumash hunted a variety of marine life, including fish, abalone, and shellfish. They used spears, nets, and traps to capture their prey. Abalone was particularly significant to the Chumash, both as a food source and for its shells, which were used to make tools, ornaments, and trade items. Chumash villages were often located near water sources, and their economy was heavily based on the abundant marine resources. They practiced complex social organization and trade networks, with dried fish and other seafood being important trade goods. The Chumash are known for their rock art, which often depicts marine life and hunting scenes. These artworks provide insight into their deep connection with the sea. The Chumash practiced sustainable harvesting techniques, including seasonal fishing and rotating fishing areas to prevent overexploitation of resources. The Amazon rainforest, often dubbed the lungs of the earth, is an almost unimaginable expanse of dense jungle, winding rivers, and unparalleled biodiversity. It spans 9 countries in South America, stretching over 5.5 million square kilometers. But beyond its breathtaking flora and fauna, the Amazon conceals another marvel: isolated tribes that have had minimal to no contact with the outside world. Imagine navigating through thick undergrowth, hearing faint sounds that don't quite align with the usual jungle noises. As you delve deeper, you might come across clearings with huts built from forest materials, indicating the presence of a community. These are the homes of indigenous tribes who, for generations, have chosen to remain isolated, protecting their traditions and way of life from external influence. Life within these tribes is intertwined deeply with nature. The rainforest isn't just a backdrop. It's their supermarket, their pharmacy, their sacred temple. Every plant, animal, and insect has a role, a purpose. From the trees, they carve their homes and canoes. The rivers and streams supply them with bountiful fish, while the forest floor offers fruits, nuts, and game. The immense knowledge they possess about the medicinal properties of various plants and herbs is truly remarkable, a testament to generations of observation and understanding. One might wonder, how do these tribes stay uncontacted in today's age of satellite imagery and drone technology? Part of it is due to the sheer inaccessibility of the regions they inhabit. The dense rainforest, with its unpredictable rivers and treacherous terrains, acts as a natural barrier. But there's also a conscious effort, both from governments and organizations, to respect their wishes for isolation and protect them from diseases to which they have no immunity. Communication, when it does occur, is a delicate process. In some cases, tribes may leave artifacts or signs on the outskirts of their territory, signaling their presence without direct interaction. Others might be more curious, observing outsiders from a distance, their faces painted with natural dyes, their bodies adorned with feathers and beads, guardians of an ancient world coexisting with the present. The stories and myths these tribes carry are woven deeply into the fabric of the Amazon. Tales of spirits that inhabit the rivers, the trees, and the skies. Legends of mighty warriors who once roamed these very grounds. In their songs and dances, the heartbeats of countless generations echo, reminding us of the intricate bond between humans and the earth. Papua New Guinea, an intricate mosaic of tribes, languages, and cultures, is often likened to a living museum. Each corner of this diverse nation, scattered across the eastern half of the island of New Guinea, seems to echo with whispers of a time long gone, yet vibrantly alive in the present. When we talk about Papua New Guinea, it's impossible not to marvel at the staggering number of languages spoken. A linguistic treasure trove, the country is home to over 800 languages, each an emblem of a distinct tribal identity. Imagine on one island hearing a plethora of dialects and tongues, each narrating tales of ancestry, battles, peace, and nature's wonders. But what truly stands out are the tribes who have successfully eluded the grasp of the modern world, choosing to retain the traditions of their ancestors. These are not just tribes, they are living time capsules offering glimpses into prehistoric human societies. Deep in the forests, away from the bustling towns and cities, are communities that lead lives in complete harmony with nature. Their huts, made from the very trees they revere, rise in perfect alignment with the undulating terrain. Every aspect of their lives, from hunting and gathering to rituals and ceremonies, is an elegant dance between man and the environment. One of the fascinating rituals among these tribes is the sing-sing. This isn't a simple song or dance. It's a cacophony of vibrant colors, intricate patterns, and haunting melodies that tell stories of their ancestors, their lands, and their spirits. Participants adorn themselves with feathers, paints, and shells, transforming into ethereal beings, connecting the terrestrial with the celestial. Amid these ceremonies and day-to-day life, the art of storytelling thrives. Without written scripts or books, their history is passed down orally, from one generation to the next. Each story, whether of mighty warriors, cunning animals, or benevolent spirits, is a thread in the tapestry of their collective memory. In the eyes of many, Papua New Guinea's tribes are a testament to the resilience and beauty of human cultures. They stand as poignant reminders that amidst the relentless march of modernity, there are pockets in the world where time seems to stand still, where the past and present beautifully coalesce. In the heart of Indonesia, an archipelago known for its shimmering beaches and volcanic islands, lies the majestic island of Sulawesi. While it boasts stunning coastal regions, its interior is a haven of lush, dense forests. And deep within this emerald expanse, the Lorenzo National Park spreads its vastness, housing secrets many of us might never have heard of. This isn't just any national park. Beyond its biodiversity and the call of rare birds, it safeguards something even more valuable. Communities of isolated tribes. These highlanders of Lorenzo have for generations remained untouched by the sweeping waves of globalization. Nestled amidst the highlands, valleys, and rugged terrains, they've cultivated a way of life that stands as a living testament to human adaptability. Their day-to-day activities, though seemingly simple, are a blend of inherited wisdom and ingenuity. Imagine hunting techniques that have evolved not through books or videos, but through whispered secrets, passed down from old hands to young ears. They've mastered the art of using every resource the forest generously provides, all the while ensuring that they give back, preserving the delicate balance of their environment. Language, an essential fabric of any culture, takes on a unique form among these highlanders. While they have oral traditions, they also communicate through intricate sign languages. This form of non-verbal interaction is not just about necessity, but is deeply embedded in their traditions. It's a dance of fingers and palms, telling tales as ancient as the trees that tower above them. Speaking of tales, their folklore is rich and captivating. Around crackling fires under a canopy of stars, elders weave stories of spirits and deities, beings believed to be tied intimately to the land they cherish. These aren't mere stories to scare children or pass the time. They're narratives that guide their daily life, explaining natural phenomena, moral codes, and the very essence of their existence. To an outsider, the Lorenzo Highlanders may seem like they're from another time, a living relic of the past, but to them their life is a harmonious rhythm. A song sung in tandem with nature. Every leaf, every stream, every mountain has a story, a purpose, and in their eyes is imbued with a spirit. In the heart of the Bay of Bengal, amidst the archipelago of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, lies an enigmatic speck of land known as North Sentinel Island. This island, small in size but immense in mystery, is home to one of the last known uncontacted tribes on Earth, the Sentinelese. Shrouded in a mist of intrigue, the Sentinelese have successfully retained their way of life for thousands of years, resisting attempts at contact from the outside world. Their lineage traces back to a time when early humans first migrated out of Africa, making them direct descendants of some of the earliest populations in Asia. The Sentinelese live a hunter-gatherer lifestyle, relying on the abundant resources that their island sanctuary provides. Bountiful marine life from the surrounding waters, tropical fruits from the dense forests, and game provide sustenance. Their tools and weapons, fashioned from materials found on the island, are simple yet effective. spears for hunting, stone tools for crafting, and boats made of tree trunks show their adeptness at harnessing natural resources. Yet, what truly sets the Sentinelese apart is their staunch desire for isolation. Over the years, numerous attempts to make contact or study the tribe have been met with fierce resistance. Arrows fly towards unfamiliar boats that venture too close, warning them away. This vehement defense of their territory is possibly driven by a mix of protective instincts and past traumas. Historically, foreign incursions into their domain, even if well-intentioned, have brought diseases that decimated indigenous populations. Respecting the wishes of the Sentinelese, the Indian government, which has jurisdiction over the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, has declared North Sentinel Island a no-go zone. Imagine an island so remote, so isolated, that we know almost nothing about it. This isn't the premise of a new season of Lost, but rather it's our reality. That's the story of North Sentinel Island. Located in the Bay of Bengal, part of the archipelago of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, North Sentinel Island is unlike any other place on Earth. Its inhabitants, the Sentinelese, are considered to be the last pre-Neolithic tribe in the world. That's right, while you and I are here using our latest devices to communicate across continents, there's a group of people who live much like our ancestors did thousands of years ago. They rely on hunting, gathering, and fishing for their sustenance. Interestingly, the island isn't that far from modern civilization. It's just over 50 kilometers from Port Blair, the capital of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Yet, despite this relative proximity, the Sentinelese have remained astonishingly isolated, their language, customs, and way of life remaining a mystery to us. Why, you ask? Well, the Sentinelese have made it abundantly clear that they want nothing to do with the outside world. They are known to respond with hostility to any attempt at contact, throwing spears and arrows at low-flying aircraft and boats that venture too close to the island. In the age of Google Maps and instant communication, it's somewhat startling to acknowledge that there are still places on our planet that remain uncharted and largely unknown, reminding us of the vastness and variety of human experience. Diving deeper, let's take a closer look at the residents of this remote island, the Sentinelese. They represent a living testament of human survival, resilience, and isolation. The Sentinelese are thought to have lived on North Sentinel Island for up to 60,000 years, undisturbed and disconnected from the evolution of civilization as we know it. That's right, they've been around for longer than we've had written language, farming, or even the wheel. The Sentinelese live in small temporary huts made from locally available materials, palms, grass, and bamboo. For food, they depend on hunting, fishing, and gathering plant-based food. They use simple tools like bows and arrows to capture their prey. There's something incredibly humbling about the Sentinelese. Living in an age where we're surrounded by technology and comforts, the Sentinelese offer a stark contrast. They've survived for tens of thousands of years with what the land provides. Their tools haven't changed for millennia, and their way of life remains rooted in age-old traditions. Their language is a mystery too for now. Even neighboring tribes from other islands in the Andaman and Nicobar archipelago can't understand it. Their dialect has evolved in isolation for so many thousands of years that it has become completely unique. You might be tempted to think of the Sentinelese as primitive or backward because they lack the technology we're accustomed to. But let's flip the narrative here. Perhaps in their sustainable way of life, in their balance with their environment, and in their resistance to outside influence, they could be seen as incredibly advanced, practicing a form of wisdom that the rest of us are only beginning to appreciate. We've established the remoteness and the distinct culture of the Sentinelese, but why is this island, smaller than the city of San Francisco, spoken about with such apprehension and caution? Why is North Sentinel Island considered one of the most dangerous places on Earth? There's a simple yet profound reason for this. The Sentinelese are hostile towards outsiders, and for centuries, they've defended their island fiercely. Now, this isn't out of any inherent aggression or malice, but a natural response to protect their domain and their way of life from the unknown, that unknown being us. Take, for instance, their encounter with the British in the late 19th century. An expedition led by Maurice Vidal Portman, a British naval officer, kidnapped several Sentinelese with the aim to civilize them. The kidnapped members soon fell ill, and most of them died due to exposure to foreign diseases against which they had no immunity. Those who survived were quickly returned to the island. Similar incidents have occurred throughout history, with explorers, anthropologists, and even lost fishermen receiving a hostile reception. In 2006, 2 fishermen who strayed too close to the island were killed. These encounters, while tragic, offer valuable insight into the island's fearsome reputation. It's less about the hostility of the Sentinelese and more about their rightful defense against potential threats. After all, from their perspective, these outsiders have brought nothing but harm and disease. Perhaps the danger of North Sentinel Island is less about the people who live there and more about our own inability to respect their desire for isolation and self-preservation. But let's not forget, we're dealing with a society that has had virtually no contact with the outside world. The rules are different, and so are the stakes. So, we've seen how the Sentinelese have maintained their distance from the rest of the world. But what about the world's responsibility to them? With the notoriety that comes with the island's unique isolation, how is North Sentinel Island, and more importantly, its people, being protected? The Indian government, under whose jurisdiction the island falls, has made several attempts to establish peaceful contact with the Sentinelese. In the 1980s and 1990s, there were contact expeditions where gifts like coconuts, bananas, and iron implements were left on the shores. These attempts were met with mixed reactions, ranging from curiosity to outright hostility. But over time, the Indian government has taken a hands-off approach. They've established a 3-mile exclusion zone around the island, making it illegal to approach without express permission. They've realized that each contact, no matter how well-intentioned, risks introducing diseases that could potentially wipe out the Sentinelese, who have no immunity to common ailments like the flu or measles. This protective stance was highlighted in 2018 when an American missionary named John Allen Chow was killed by the Sentinelese after illegally visiting the island in an attempt to convert them to Christianity. Despite international outcry and demands for his body to be retrieved, the Indian authorities refused to disturb the Sentinelese, arguing that any such attempt would be both dangerous and disrespectful. It's a precarious balance, isn't it? The Sentinelese are arguably the most isolated people in the world, with their wishes for isolation respected, but this isolation also makes them vulnerable. With increasing impacts of climate change and sea level rise, the future of North Sentinel Island and its inhabitants hangs in the balance. The question then arises, how do we protect those who do not want or perhaps do not understand the need for our protection? The case of North Sentinel Island raises some interesting and complex moral questions, doesn't it? The Sentinelese are a living, breathing testament to an ancient way of life, fascinating and mysterious in their seclusion. But as we've seen, this seclusion isn't without its perils. How do we approach these perils? Should we leave them alone, as they clearly wish, respecting their autonomy but leaving them vulnerable to natural disasters and climate change? Or do we intervene, risking their health and way of life in the process? There's no easy answer. In fact, these questions touch on wider debates about colonialism and its legacy. The history of the world is filled with instances where contact has resulted in devastation for indigenous peoples. The Sentinelese have so far avoided this fate, but at the cost of complete isolation. These questions also highlight the tension between scientific curiosity and ethical responsibility. As a society, we're naturally curious. We want to know more about the Sentinelese and their way of life. But is it right to satisfy our curiosity at the expense of their wishes? Is there a way to learn without disrupting? Finally, the case of North Sentinel Island forces us to confront the value we place on different ways of life. Our modern, technology-driven society tends to prioritize progress and development. But the Sentinelese are a stark reminder that there are other ways to live, and that these ways too have value. So, perhaps the most important moral question is, are we willing to accept, respect, and protect a way of life that is so different from our own? Now, the Sentinelese aren't the only uncontacted tribe in the world. According to Survival International, there are more than 100 uncontacted tribes across the globe, with the majority in Brazil and Peru. These tribes, much like the Sentinelese, choose to reject contact with the outside world, often due to a history of violent encounters or the devastating impact of diseases brought by outsiders. But being uncontacted in the 21st century comes with its own set of challenges. As we continue to consume resources and land, these tribes face threats to their survival. deforestation, illegal mining, and oil exploration, to name a few. The global community faces a dilemma. Do we respect their choice to remain isolated, potentially allowing their unique cultures to disappear? Or do we intervene, potentially disrupting their way of life? The story of North Sentinel Island and the Sentinelese people raises these questions. They're a stark reminder that, even in our interconnected world, pockets of isolation remain, defying our understanding of what it means to be a global citizen in the 21st century. And there you have it, a journey through time and across the waves to a corner of our planet where time, in a sense, has stood still. The Sentinelese and North Sentinel Island, a mirror to our past and a testament to human adaptability.